Hey, what's up guys? We all use debit and credit cards to perform various online transactions, to withdraw cash from the ATM, as well as to pay at various shopping malls and petrol pumps using the portable card terminals when we are out of cash in our pockets. Well, you all must be aware of, and if you are not aware, then it's good to know that there are basically two kinds of ATM cards. First is the magnetic strip based, this is the older version, and the newer EMV chip based debit and credit cards. So basically, what are the basic differences between these two kinds of cards? And if you are aware, in India from 1st January 2019, the older magnetic strip based cards will no longer be usable. So it is mandatory for you to convert to the newer chip based debit card for performing your transactions. Well, why is this actually, and how is this new EMV chip based card better than the older magnetic strip based? Today in this video we shall be talking about the differences between these two kinds of debit and credit cards, and how is the newer card much more secure than the older card. But before we get into this video, if you have landed new to this channel, make sure to subscribe to this channel along with pressing the bell icon beside it, because I regularly keep on bringing such interesting tech contents for you. So without wasting any more time, let's get into the video. So first let us talk about this older magnetic strip based debit and credit cards. Well, these older debit and credit cards had a magnetic strip which was made by iron based particles, and all the user information, that is the information of the card holder as well as the issuing bank, is stored on this magnetic strip. Now let us quickly discuss how a transaction is carried out when we are swiping this card in our ATM machine. When you swipe this card, the content of this magnetic strip is copied temporarily on the ATM terminal, and then the user is prompted to enter his PIN or the personal identification number and the amount which he wishes to withdraw or deposit. And after entering the PIN, along with the information that was contained on the magnetic strip of the card, the ATM terminal sends all this information to the issuing bank for verification. Once the bank has verified all the details to be correct and authentic about the cardholder, the bank issues a response stating that the transaction is successful. And like this, the transaction from a older magnetic strip based card is carried out so easily. Now here are some disadvantages. First of all, whenever you swipe this magnetic strip based card, all the user information is temporarily copied onto the terminal. So any information that is stored on this strip of the card can be easily copied by any terminal, by any hacker. So if a hacker has any portable terminal, he can easily copy the information contained on this strip onto his new blank debit or credit card. Now the second disadvantage, the information which can be stored on this magnetic strip is very limited. So very few amount of information can be stored on this card, and most of the information has to be fetched from the bank. Now when this information from this strip coupled with the PIN and the transaction details is sent to the bank for authentication and verification, it is not encrypted very well. So any attacker, if he sits in between the communication channel between the card terminal and the bank, can easily get hold of these information, and also he can easily clone this session and perform future transactions without even the presence of the card holder actually. So this means the older magnetic strip based cards was very insecure, and it was very easy to clone these cards onto a blank card, and also future transactions didn't even require the card holder to be present physically to enter the PIN. So now the older magnetic strip based cards are being replaced with this modern EMV chip based cards. Well, these cards are having a microchip which looks quite similar to the SIM card present in your mobile device. All the user information of the card holder as well as the issuing bank account details is stored inside this microchip. Now transactions from these EMV chip based cards are conducted in two ways. First is the contact based, and second is the contactless. First let us talk about the contact based transaction. So in the contact based transaction, this card has to be kept inserted inside the card terminal throughout the whole process of transaction till the transaction is completed. So when you insert this card inside the terminal, there are certain contact points inside the terminal which are making contact with this microchip. The first thing which the user has to do is to enter his personal identification number. If this personal identification number is correct, then only the details which are stored inside this microchip can be accessed by the terminal. So basically, if you do not know the personal identification number, or the cardholder is not physically present over there, the terminal cannot even copy any information that is stored inside this card. Once the PIN is verified, the details from the card is temporarily copied onto the terminal, and along with the transaction details, that is the amount to be withdrawn or to be deposited, the request for authentication and verification is sent to the bank. Now before sending this request, these type of EMV chip based transactions have to first encrypt the request using the public key of the issuing bank. Now this public key is also stored inside this microchip, and once the encryption is done, the request is sent to the bank. Now the bank, on receiving this request, decrypts the request using the private key which is only present with the bank, and after verifying and authenticating the request, it sends a response of transaction successful. Now along with the request being sent to the bank, a session ID is created. Now this session ID is very unique, and this session ID cannot be cloned. So each transaction is unique, and once the transaction is complete, the session is completely destroyed. So now if a hacker or an attacker sits in the middle of the communication channel and tries to intercept all these requests, first of all, he cannot decrypt the request because he does not have the private key of the encrypted message, and secondly, even if he manages to decrypt the request, that request will be of no use because that session is already destroyed once the previous transaction is completed. Now second comes the contactless chip based transaction. In this type of communication, the NFC based communication or the near far communication channel is used. In this, there is a NFC chip embedded inside this EMV chip based card, and the terminal is also embedded with a NFC chip. Now this card has to be in close proximity with the NFC terminal, that is approximately around 5 centimeters, and this card has to be in that particular proximity throughout the transaction, and the rest of the transaction is quite similar to the contact based transaction. So these modern cards also add to the modern technology being used, that is the NFC, which accounts to the ease of the user. To sum up all the things, the modern EMV chip based cards can store much more information of the user as well as the issuing bank, and it has the capability to process which enables it to authenticate the personal identification number on the card side itself, and prevents any kind of cloning of the information stored inside this card if the correct PIN is not entered. And also, since this card uses much more better encryption technique along with creating unique session during each transaction, it is practically impossible for any attacker to perform man-in-the-middle attack and conduct any kind of future transactions without the physical presence of the card holder. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this video helped you in understanding the basic differences between the older magnetic strip based cards and the newer EMV chip based cards. If you find this video helpful, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you did not like this video, dislike this video. Share this video with all your friends and family, and before leaving, make sure to subscribe to this channel along with pressing the bell icon beside it, because I regularly keep on bringing such interesting tech videos for you. See you in my next video. Till then, goodbye.